step event. This is where with what the step event will do is like we'll make our enemy a little bit smart, make our enemy like a little bit smarter. Like every once in a while, it will actually shoot at you, at the expense of not being able to move. So like this is where the control tab comes in handy. So what we want to do is we want to go to this dice thing called test chance, and we'll add like 500 sides because it will be running every frame. This thing will be running at every frame of the game. So with basically what I did is like with a 1 out of a 500 chance in the game, and then these block things will come in handy. With a 1 out of a 500 chance, we will create this enemy block instance relative to its personal position, and then we'll close the block. And when we have that, we'll see that our enemy can shoot. The only thing is, it's not killing us. See, it just goes straight through us. So if we want to have our player character die when it gets hit by a bullet, we go to our player object. We add a collision for our enemy bullet, and then we'll basically just add in the same thing that we did for when you ran into an enemy: a high score table and restarting the game. Also, another thing that I want to add is, and just a little bit of detail. We'll have your bullet destroy when you destroy an enemy. It's just a little detail that I want to add in there. So now we have our enemies firing at us. Oh, we finally got it. We got hit by our enemy, and now we died, and I didn't get first place.
Oh my god!
And now we have a good amount of interactivity with our game. It's like our enemies can shoot. We can die by those enemy bullets that it shoots out every once in a while. And I beat the game!
Oh, no, nothing's happening.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Oh well. So, what if we want to make our... So, that's more or less like a good, like your very basic game maker game. It's like you have your player that can move, your player that can do stuff. You have your enemies on screen that are like shooting back at you, shooting their own bullets, and actually being able to die from those bullets.
Now this is an example of just one kind of game, right?
Yeah.
You could easily make this into a shooter game, but Alan, I'm going to ask you something just live. Could you turn this into like a maze game, right? Maybe make the enemy stop shooting and just draw a maze with those blocks around the player, just to show how quickly and easily you can adapt into something else?
We could, yes.
All right.
So
So
what we'll do is we want to delete all of these. Wait, do you mean like have these enemies like turn into a maze?
just like draw a maze with the enemies and make them stop shooting. Right? So you touch them, you die, right?
Yeah.
So you can make a maze where if you touch the sides, you die.
That's actually pretty genius.
That's so hard.
This will take a while though.
So once you have just simple stuff like collision, it's very easy to iterate and completely change the idea of what your game is if you just got, you know, a clever idea. So, you know, maybe you don't want to make a shooter, but as long as you can decide what happens when two things touch each other, you can very easily say, well, the thing that you're touching is a wall now, and touching it makes you blow up. So you could make like a racing game where these, instead of being enemies, they're just like the sides of the road, and if you slide off on the side of the road, then it destroys your car or something. And then it's very easy to make it so that when you collide with something, you can change the sprite associated with your object. So his object is that ball, and the sprite it's got is the actual sort of black picture attached to it. You can make it so it, say, turns orange into a fiery explosion just by changing the sprite when it touches a wall. But here you go, he's got a maze game.
Now put a snake following you.
Theoretically, you could just shoot through the maze right now as well.
All right.
You still have the ball.
Hacks! Hacks! Hacks!
How broken is that?
Yeah, just screw going through the maze, just shoot through it.
Alan, could you show them how you could attach another room at the side of it so that you could, after you go off the right side of the maze, it moves you into a new room with another maze in it?
All right. So we'll make for this case we'll make another room. Actually, well, yeah, we'll make another room, and that's not the object that I wanted to place. We'll actually make this. We'll just make this the same room, and then we'll like another maze, preferably a harder maze.
Just make it an easier maze for time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still just shoot through it.
Yeah.
But you could make it so that when things collide, it doesn't destroy it. You just have a number stored in the object for its health, and you decrease that number by 1. And then if you check if that number is 0, then it dies. And just like that, you've given the blocks health or damage resistance, and then you have to hit them maybe 5 times before they break.
4 or 500.
4 or 500 if you're sadistic. Okay, so he's, just to clarify, he's made a new room.
Made a new room, yes. And what we want to do, and then what we want to do here is like object.
So he's going to that same object, the object that represents the player.
And then we'll actually go to our step event because we want to check if our player object is at the end of the room. So
with the step event, you check 30 times a second if the player's at the edge of the room, and then, so go on.
So we'll say like if we'll go to our test variable and say like if x is larger than say the size of a room, which is 640, then we put our blocks, and then we go to our rooms object and go to the next room.
So just to clarify what he's done there, he's checking the object's physical coordinates. I know some of you guys are like, come on, this is simple. He's checking where the object is, and if its coordinates are over the area that we're calling the room, then go to the next thing.
Okay, and then we'll just go through our maze like dirt.
So while he's doing this, 30 times a second, checking if he's at the edge of the room. And he touches the edge of the room. Now he's in the next maze part. So you could make a game like The Legend of Zelda like this.
Legend of Zelda.
Or Lego Island 2.
Oh my god, that game was so terrible!
Make League of Legends do this.
You could.
It'll take forever.
It will take forever, but you could.
Alan, could you add a mouse control really quick, where you click and it will go towards your mouse? Because they suggested League of Legends, right?
We could, but it would be complicated to implement here, so we'll just have it
No,
like.
I think we can do that pretty easily. Try adding like a click event. We're not sure if this will work, but let's try it anyways.
Left mouse button.
Okay, can you get the mouse position when it's clicked?
Check mouse.
Oh, you're stuck at up.
On the left mouse button.
Maybe other. Channel other.
Hopefully, it's aligning with something. Hold on.
Yeah, this is gonna. Yeah, what we're doing right now is actually pretty advanced. So, mouse, left button. Okay, let's try some voodoo magic here.
So think about these code blocks. Like you can work with these, or you can work with a scripting language called GML if you like to do more text-based stuff. But think of this. How many of you guys played with Lego when you were little? Right? Lego's awesome. So do you guys know the thing where you're looking for a piece in your Lego box because you want to build something cool, and you're like shuffling through it, and then along the way you discover other cool Lego pieces and you like set them aside in a pile? Okay, that's what I would do, right? I'd be trying to make a spaceship, I'd be looking for like a wing or something, and I'd find an antenna and say, you know what, I wanted to have an antenna as well. That's kind of how you should think about this GameMaker interface. You should go ahead and kind of look for one thing, but while you're doing that, keep in mind what you see along the way. You might kind of put it to the back of your mind, hey, this might be useful in some other situation. That's what I call Lego box programming. It's how I program in Java as well. With the API. But the idea is you look for cool bits that are useful to you, and along the way you find other cool bits that you can use.
Okay, I think I figured out how to like hackney in this League of Legends like movement and stuff. Create. It involves a create event, and we'll actually have to set variables. So we're actually getting a little bit more advanced here, but it's kind of simple enough.
So you guys all know what variables